Hey, this is Mike from the One Stop Co-op Shop, and today we're looking at Hero Realms, and specifically the co-op and solo modes of play that come with the adventure packs. So far, just one of these has been released, The Ruins of Thandar, but the second one in this kind of saga they're doing should be coming out to retail soon. So like always, I'm going to go through how to set up and the basics of play, but if you want to skip that, just use the timestamps. And if you like what you see here at the One Stop Co-op Shop, consider joining the conversation on our Slack or our Discord channels, listen to our weekly podcast every Sunday, and consider supporting us through Patreon to get access to a bunch of fun perks. So let's get into how to set up the game. It does start like any other game of Hero Realms, where you shuffle the giant market together and put the fire gems in their spot. This mat does not come with the game, by the way. And you're going to turn up 5 cards face up to form the starting market. Next, you're going to get to setting up your master. There is some flavor text that goes with this, but we'll get to that in a minute. For this playthrough, I'm going to show you the level 1 master enthralled regulars. This is the easiest one, but I didn't want to spoil the storyline that comes after this, so I thought this would be good enough to kind of show off the game. And first, you're going to take all the cards that have the same number as the master you're fighting, which is the number 1 master here, and I'll take those. And additionally, you're going to take the deck of S cards, setting cards, and based on the number of players, you're going to take a certain number of these and mix them in with those number 1 cards. I asked our patrons whether I should do a one-handed or two-handed playthrough, and they were exactly split on the issue, but I honestly don't think there's a ton of cooperation. I'll talk about that more in the review. So I'm going to show you a one-handed game, just one hero against the master, because it'll be a lot easier to watch and kind of follow along with. So for one hero, you take a single setting card and mix it together with the master cards. And next, you're going to deal 5 piles of cards. Now, in this case, we had exactly 10 cards, so we have 2 in each pile. But if there were an uneven number of cards, if there was a remainder left over, all of those cards would go into whatever is our middle pile, which will become the middle of the deck. Then I'm going to take the 5 mastery cards, shuffle those up, and put 1 in each of my piles. Then I'm going to separately shuffle each pile, and they'll get stacked on top of each other. Again, if we had extras, the middle pile, it would matter which one it is, but here it doesn't matter, we can just stack them in any order. Finally, we set the master's health value. You see that for the enthralled regulars, it says 50. And you can use one of the basic health trackers from the basic Hero Realms set, or any other tracker you like, but we'll just use this here. So you got a 50 and a 0. If he got hurt, we'd go to 49, 48, you get the idea, and he could even gain life above 50, but he's starting there. As for our setup, it's pretty standard for Hero Realms. One important thing, though, is you need to have the separately sold hero packs to play, at least 1 per player. There are 5 total. Again, I had the patrons vote, and they were perfectly split between Wizard and Ranger, but Wizard works better for solo play, and Ranger works better for two-handed play, so we're going with the Wizard. And the Wizard tells you her starting life. So I've gone ahead and marked that, just like with the boss. And in these hero packs, they each have 2 ability cards, one that's once per game and one that costs 2 gold to use. But in the Ruin of Thandar set, they have replacement cards for these that are specifically tailored for campaign play. So I'll go ahead and put those up there. There are a ton of other cards and treasure and things that you can upgrade into in the adventure pack, but starting at the beginning, we can just put these to the side. So all we'll actually need are the 10 standard cards of the Wizard. We're going to shuffle those up and draw our first 5-card hand. There we go. We are ready on the player side of things. Getting into how the game is played, just like any other game of Hero Realms, you have to take away all of your opponent's health before you lose all of your own. So whichever of us goes down to 0 first loses. At the beginning of every player's turn, you first resolve a master turn, where you draw as many cards as is indicated up here. So 1 to start. And first you look at the color of the gem in the upper left. If it's blue, green, red, or yellow, you resolve the indicated effect. These little red symbols are how much damage they're going to try to deal to you this round. The green symbols are healing, and they might have other effects. Now in this particular case, our first color is white. And that means the master will resolve their favorite color, which in this case is red. You see kind of like the little star symbols around that one. If the card is a hazard like this one, it's generally going to sit in front of you until you deal with it in some way. If it's a minion like these guys, it goes into play and stays in play. If it's a regular minion, it goes in front of you, and basically you can't affect this enemy or any other player's minions until you deal with people in front of you. If it's an elite minion like this guy, it hangs around with the master and hits every player, so that is certainly a worse thing in co-op play. Finally, there are the mastery cards, which you saw were seated in the deck. Whenever one comes out, we'll again resolve the color, and then it goes under or next to the master. Once the master has this many mastery cards, so for the enthralled regulars 3, they discard all of them and then flip to their more powerful side. Their colored effects will be worse, and for this guy, they'll now draw 2 cards a turn instead of 1, double the trouble. After a player has taken their master turn, they get to resolve their own hero turn, and they'll generally have a hand of 5 cards, barring other effects. And like many deck builders, they can play these cards down in whatever order they want, but the 2 main resources they'll be generating are gold and attack. And once you play cards to generate these resources onto the board, they hang around in 2 separate pools until you use them. Attack can be used to defeat minions, either in your area, which you have to defeat before you can fight anybody else. Attack can also be used 1 for 1 to deal damage to the master and eventually win the game, hopefully. And gold is very simple. You've got 5 cards in the market, plus the always available fire gems for 2 gold. For a cost equal to the gold value in the upper right, you can get one of these cards. It goes in your discard pile and builds up your deck to be stronger. And a key thing for market cards, but none of your starting cards, many of them will have a little symbol down here that matches their color up here out of the 4 main colors. And what this means is, as long as I've played at least one other card besides this Elven Gift that's also green, I'll additionally be able to use this power at some point during my turn. So a big aspect of Star Realms and Hero Realms, both the ones using the system, is to try to get a bunch of combos of the same color or work on maybe 2 colors at a time. Many of your cards will be champions, like my Wizard's Cat Familiar here, and they get played into kind of your ongoing area. We're calling that the top here. And generally, they can be exhausted once per turn for some effect. But unlike the rest of your cards that all get discarded at the end of the turn, you can keep on using them as long as the master does not destroy them, which they frequently will. But once you're done playing cards using your gold and your attack and maybe some healing, the green symbol, you discard all the cards in your hand, you draw back up to 5 cards, and either the next player goes with their master phase and hero phase, or if I'm playing solo like this, you just go right to a master turn, right to a hero turn, back and forth until one of you wins. So that's it for the basics of play. Let's get to the little story they have for the Ruins of Thandar, and then get into the fight. It's early evening at the inn at 4 Rivers, and the place is crowded with humans, elves, and a dozen more races, all eating, drinking, singing, and shouting. You're seated at your usual spot in the back corner, enjoying a horn of ale and wondering what to have for supper, when a crash and clatter from near the door turns your head. You see an upended table, broken dishes, and spilled drinks, as well as an angry-looking dwarf shoving an equally furious orc. You watch with only mild interest. Fights are common at the 4 Rivers. Then you notice the smoke. Black, cloudy tendrils flow across the floor of the inn. Whenever this smoke touches a customer, their eyes go wild and they surge to their feet, weapons drawn. You quickly realize the inn is under attack by a sinister enchantment. As fight after fight breaks out, your eyes track the smoke back to its source, a group of cloaked figures by the door. Their garb and markings call the Necros cult to mind, but there's something off about them. You rise and ready your weapons. While seeking a path through the choking smoke towards the intruders, a barrel of ale smashes the splinters at your feet. Looking up, you find a trio of crazed customers charging toward you. You'll have to subdue them quickly in order to get to the source of this dark magic. Alright, fun in the tavern. We're going to start with our first master phase. And the game has difficulty settings, mainly revolving around what the master gets to do and what you get to do, like whether you get a free turn before the master acts. We're not going to do that. We're going to play on what's normal or hard difficulty. Okay, so we already saw this card. It's got the white symbol, which corresponds to the master's favored symbol, red right now, which means they're going to do 3 damage, but that hangs around until they've resolved all the other effects of their card. In this case, this one is a hazard. Your area is blocked off. You can't fight, heal, or target outside your area, and other players can't fight, heal, or target inside your area. You may expend one of your champions to clear this hazard. So this isn't a big deal right now, but if it sticks around, I can't hurt the master. So I want to get rid of this by exhausting any one champion as soon as I can. So we can just put this in my active area. And now that we've resolved all the effects, the boss will use all of their attack. So here we go from 50 to 47. And with that, it's our turn. First thing we want to do, pretty obvious I think, is play our cat familiar and exhaust him to get rid of the broken tables and chairs. So I guess the cat found us a way out. Then we've got a pretty simple hand. This is how it usually goes early in the game. We can use Ignite to do 2 damage, and then we have 3 gold to spend. I do want to call out briefly the wizard's campaign abilities. Once per mission, they can use Fireball, which will deal 4 damage to every enemy in one area. So if we attack the master, it'll deal 4 damage to them and all of their minions. And then Channel, which we can use once per turn by exhausting it and spending 2 gold, takes 1 health from us, but has the amazing ability to let us draw an extra card. So we could do that here, but I think I'd rather start buying nice stuff. So looking at the market, we only have a single color that's doubled up, that's red. So we could use 2 of our 3 gold to buy the Death Cultist. It's a pretty weak champion, he just hits for 2, but he does have guard, which means the boss has to attack him and lose 3 attack when he does. But considering that neither of the red cards have a bonus for other red cards being in play, I'm not too worried about them. I wish I could afford Hit Job, but I'm 1 gold short. So Elven Gift is looking pretty good. I like to get cards that give me gold early. It's also got a draw and discard power, and it'll eventually get me more attack if more greens get in my deck. Just a reminder, I can always buy a Fire Gem. They also get 2 gold, and you can trash them for a 1-time 3 attack, but clearly Elven Gift is going to be better than that. So sure, let's buy that, and it gets immediately replaced by a yellow champion. So we've got 2 of them at the moment. Elven Gift goes in my discard pile. So we do have 1 gold left, but nothing to spend on it. But since we got past the overturned chairs, we can use our 2 attack from our action to get the master down to 48. At the end of our turn, all of our champions unexhaust, and we get our 5 next cards. So it looks like some decent buying power and some more attack. Nice little mix. Master's turn again. Oh geez, another one. But this time it's a blue, which says 1 damage and stun your highest shield value champion. So remember, the 1 damage sits around, but we do the stunning immediately. His shield value isn't very high, but my cat is gone, which means he can't clear this, unfortunately. So that does come into our area, and then he's going to deal the 1 damage, get us down to 46. So going right into our turn, unfortunately we now have no champion to clear this, so our attack is going to be wasted since we have no one to hit it with. But just to show you our cards, because these will come up a lot, Spell Components, it's only 1 gold, but if I buy an action this turn, it costs 1 gold less. And Fire Staff says after 1 damage, if you have 2 or more actions in play, draw a card. So good for me to buy actions and not just like champions. So I've got 3 attack, but nothing to spend it on. But I've got 3 gold and a 1 gold discount on an action. And that makes me immediately gravitate towards Hit Job, which would normally cost 4, but now costs 3 and does 7 damage all by itself. Nice. Draw a replacement. Ooh, Wolf Form, another action, green to match the other card I bought, and 8 damage, plus target opponent discards a card, which for the Masters, this is a 1 rule change. Instead of discarding a card, you get to look at the top card of their deck, and you can either keep it there or discard it. Alright, I've gone through my whole deck, so I'll shuffle and draw 5. Hopefully I get a cat to deal with that. And indeed I did, which is lucky because I got my Hit Job too, and it would have been terrible to waste 7 attack. Back to the Master. We can predict what this is going to be because we had Mastery cards seeded in every 3-card deck, so this has to be, a Mastery. They can go under or next to them. When they get 3, they'll level up to do 2 cards a turn. And they're doing a yellow effect, which is just healing themselves too. So they're back to 50. No progress. Well, they also didn't do anything terrible to me. That's nice. I'll play my Cat Familiar, get rid of the tables and chairs. He's good at that. Let's see, Hit Job and Ignite, so that's going to be 9 damage total. And we've got 2 gold, but we could buy an action that costs 3. So looking up here, there are no actions that cost 3. The best I could do is the Death Cultist, but I think I'm actually going to buy a Fire Gem, because I don't want to splash into too many colors, and more money to get to something like Wolf Form is nice. And we'll deal our 9 damage to the boss, back down to 41. Awesome. Our cat unexhausts. And kind of a cruddy draw for next turn. I've got my staff. They can let me draw 1 if I have 2 actions, but I only have 1. And 3 money is not quite enough to do much. Coming back to the Master. Charging Drunk. This is a minion and not an elite one, so they're going to be sitting in my area. Now this does play into the co-op aspect of things. Unaware, nearby players, that means other players that are sitting adjacent to me at the table, deal double damage to this minion. So he has 4 life, but if somebody else attacked him, they would only need to do 2. Now, first of all, yellow, so the Master is going to heal 2 up to 43. And then he's going to tap and do 4 damage to me every turn until I get rid of him. Their priority is first they'll defeat guard minions with black shields. Then they'll see if they can kill me. I don't have 4 life or less, so no. And then they'll hit my other minions. So Cat Familiar stops 2 damage. I take the other 2 down to 44. And just like mine, their minions unexhaust at the end of the turn. Alright, to come to me, this is a bummer of a turn because I have 3 damage I can do, but the drunk needs 4, and I can't hit the boss while a minion's in my area. So let's use 2 of my gold to activate my hero's ability. I get to take 1 damage, but I get to draw a card. And nice, that's the one I think I wanted. So I can play Ignite for 2 damage, Elven Gift for 2 gold, and lets me draw a card and then discard a card. Let's do that. Okay, I draw a gold and then I'll discard it. So these 2 golds are used, so we've got 3 gold left, but still only 3 attack. But actually, wait, we have 2 actions, so the Fire Staff will let us draw another card. Now, these 2 gold that I've used this turn are still technically in play, so I'm not going to shuffle them, but I will shuffle the rest. Let's see if we get lucky. And we got a Fire Gem. I could trash it for 3 damage. We're up to 5 gold, by the way. And yeah, if I trash it for 3 damage, I'm not getting that one because I don't have another green, but I would have 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage total. So let's sacrifice this. So with 6 damage, we'll defeat our drunk and deal 2 to the boss, get him back to 41. And we've got 5 gold with the Fire Gem. And we could get Wolf Form, which is super great. We could also get Kristoff the Just. 2 attack and 3 healing every turn. But let's stick to the same colors. And 8 damage is pretty awesome. So we'll spend all our gold on that. And replacement, nice, another green with a ton of money. And discard power, not as good. Back over to our friend the Master. There's their second mastery. This one is their favored suit. They're just going to do 3 damage to us, and that's their entire turn. That gets us down to 40 even. I'm sorry, I should have drawn my next 5 cards. We can see them now. Got spell components again, some gold, and a bunch of damage. Let's do the gold first. I've got 3 and an action to be 1 cheaper. And that works out perfectly because Nature's Bounty is an action for 4. And now I'm continuing to get my green power going. And hey, there's a nice blue card for 5, which Nature's Bounty's 4 should make easy to get. So if I kind of go green-blue for a while, it won't hurt me too bad. That leaves just my 9 damage. Boom, from 41 down to 32. Hitting the boss hard with those hit jobs. Alright, we're hoping the third mastery will be at the bottom of its pile, because if we get it soon, this guy will start getting 2 cards a turn. In this case, it's a Charging Drunk, 1 damage and stun our highest champion. Luckily, we don't have one. But then 4 more for the drunk, so that's going to be 5 damage total to us. And once again, I forgot to draw my next hand. Shouldn't do that. But let's go ahead and mark the 5 damage. We're down to 35. And we drew, an interesting hand. 4 gold and a cat. So I could use my fireball to just blow up that guy. Although it's a waste if I ever get more minions on me at once. Could use my power to draw. I don't want to take a ton of damage. So let's actually use our fireball. That's once per game. The drunk is defeated. And then I'll get a 5th gold from the cat to go with my 4 golds. Yeah, just because I like having a lot of actions and a lot of the same colors, I'll get Deception. It's 2 money and draw a free card, so it just replaces itself. And not a great power if I get the other blue. Put the next card you acquire this turn into your hand with the extra money. Could be nice. Replacement, the Rot. A nice attacking card that lets me sacrifice cards in my hand. So I'm going to have to branch out into white or red a little bit next turn. This time let's do it right. Pretty nice hand here. Got a great amount of money with Nature's Bounty and 2 actions to let Fire Staff draw an extra card. Let's see what nastiness this guy has for us. Temporary Insanity. This is another one that's better in co-op. For each nearby player, sacrifice the top card of the market deck, make a villainous attack against the player with attack equal to the card's money. If you're by yourself, you just draw the top market card and attack yourself for that much. But also a red, so that's going to be 3 damage cutting at us. Now draw the top market card. 4, that's not too terrible. So that is 7 damage total. Our cat will take 2, and we'll take the other 5 down to 30. Yuck. But I am happy the third mastery didn't come out yet. Let's see, we'll say we played the Ignite and the Nature's Bounty, and then the Fire Staff will let us draw another card. Oh, excellent. Elven Gift. That's going to activate both these abilities. So let's see, this will be 2 money when we play it. You may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Sure, let's do that. We got an Ignite. I have so much money, let's go ahead and discard the gold in its place. And I can make the opponent discard a card, which remember means I get to look at the Master's top card and discard it if I like. Let's do that. That's just what I was hoping for. Now we get to take away his third mastery. There's 2 more coming, but hopefully that'll buy us a few more turns of him only doing 1 card a turn. Alright, let's not forget, Elven Gift is now going to give us 4 attacks. So yikes, we've got 4, 6, 8, 9 attack. Beautiful. So let's do that before we buy anything. That'll take him down to 23. I'm feeling good about this, especially since we haven't gotten hit job yet. And let's see, I've got 7 money, and the first action I buy costs 1 less. I could get somebody big and meaty like List the Unseen or Kristoff. But let's start with the Rot, a nice action. That'll cost me only 2 because of the spell components, which means I've got 5 left. Okay, taxation, money action, I don't want that. Alright, so with the 5, I will go ahead and get Kristov. I don't want to kind of buy a bunch of middling things. Okay, a weak-ish, but okay, blue champion. Man, that was a nice turn, but look at the cards I just drew for next turn. I hope they don't get something like the overturned chairs again, where I can't attack, because I might just be able to blow this guy away in one turn. But let's see what he's got for me first. Okay, just temporary insanity again. Yellow means he'll heal too, but it's not a mastery. And I'm going to attack myself for 5. The Dire Wolf card looks like one I would have wanted, but too late. I'm down to 25, and he is up to 25. Hey, equality. But not for long. This is going to get a little ugly. So the Rot, 4 damage. I can sacrifice a card, take it out of my deck, in my hand, or discard pile. Let's get rid of this 1 random gold. I don't need that. So that's 4, 6, 8 more, and they discard a card again. So that'll be 14. And 7 is 21. It didn't quite kill him, but he'll have 4 left. So let's see. The Impy's going to play. Makes me discard an item each turn. Green's going to make me also discard a card. And he's got 4 life. We don't need him. Let's get rid of him. So this is not a nice turn for these guys. I rot one of them. I burn another. I turn into a wolf and ravage one. And then I hire an assassin to come in and almost finish the job. I hope the patrons in the bar will forgive me when they wake up from their stupors. Okay, I got rid of that annoying imp. Let's see what comes in instead. I figured it would probably be a mastery, but I kind of prefer that. So they're going to do 3 damage to me this turn. And then because they have 3, these all go away, and they'll flip to their 2-card a turn side, but that won't happen until next turn. Hopefully I can finish them off. So 3 damage, I'm down to 22. And let's use some powers, see if I can win. I'll play Elven Gift. I can draw a card and then discard a card. And there we go. That will do it, because I can discard or trash this for 4 attack. That's going to boost Elven Gift to get me 4 attack. Now the Fire Staff will let me draw a card for 2 actions, which is Deception, which lets me draw a card and get 2 money, which is Ignite. All right, so what is that? 2, 3, 7 if I trash it, 11. My cat can jump in on the action at 12 damage. Yeah, the first encounter is the easiest. I barely went below half life, but it's a good kind of taste of what's to come. The third boss encounter, man, is it tough. With the regulars and several of the mysterious cloaked figures now unconscious at your feet, you take a moment to relieve the cloaked villains of their weapons and treasure. Then with a quick gulp, you down the remains of your drink and rush out of the tavern, giving chase to the remaining cloaked figures. Now, a really fun little detail in these adventure packs, you get some bonus upgrades each time you win an adventure. So in this case, we get a 1-use random elixir out of 5 available, and then we each get a unique treasure to our class. You have 4 of them for each one. So let's see what the wizard would have going into encounter 2. The Serpentine Staff. It replaces one of your golds, which is great. You don't even have this in your deck anymore. It still gives you 1 gold, but then it deals 2 damage to every minion in one target area you pick. So really cool there. And like I said, you would also gain an elixir. Now these just start in play, which is nice. They just kind of hang around until you want to drink them. And you trash them to use them, so not amazing, but it's a nice little bonus in the next mission. Now, one of my favorite things is after some missions, like number 2 in this campaign, you get to upgrade one of your wizard abilities, the ones that kind of start in play. So I can make my fireball get crazier and crazier, and they have multiple upgrade paths. Or I can make my channel ability, the one that lets me draw cards, get better and better. And the thing is, in the first Runes of Thandar set, there's no way to get all of these. But with the village one coming and other ones, I assume you'll keep on leveling and leveling, so it can be a pretty epic experience by the end. So there you have it, the Enthralled regulars didn't have a chance. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough of the Ruins of Thandar Adventure Pack for Hero Realms. And if you'd like to see my 5-minute review on the solo and co-op play in general, click the video link that just popped up. Good gaming, and I'll see you at the next stop.